Hello, book lovers. Welcome back to another book review. Thank you for tuning in. And let's just get straight into it, shall we? So, what if I told you there's a Korean superpower that can help you succeed in your career, improve your relationships, and navigate social situations with ease? It's called Nunchi. And according to Euny Hong's book, The Power of Nunchi, it's the secret behind Korea's rapid development and an essential life skill. But is it really that powerful, or is there more to the story? Let's find out. So, this book was much talked about when it was published back in 2019. It introduces English readers to the Korean concept of nunchi. Uni Hong had previously written a book called The Birth of Korean Cool, which charted the rise of Korean pop culture. You can find a review of that on the channel. So the Nunchi book, Power of Nunchi, has been widely was widely reviewed at the time and praised by lots of the Western newspapers. It was heavily marketed as a self-help book that will help you improve your love life, your career, and your interpersonal relationships in general. Some commentators suggest that it might be the next big lifestyle trend along the lines of the Danish concept of hygge, the Danish and Norwegian word for mood of coziness and comfortable atmosphere and general contentment, which is a big trend in the past several years. Others compared it to Marie Kondo's best-selling book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And it was also promoted with a quote from the best-selling Buddhist monk Hemin Sunim, author of The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down and Love for Imperfect Things. And his quote, he blurbed the book and he said, "A must read for anyone interested in the art of intuitively knowing what others feel." And the response from readers seems to have been mostly pretty positive. However, if you were paying attention to certain sections of Korean Twitter at the time, there were some vocal critics and dissenters objecting to the positive narrative the book was writing at the time. And really, I don't think Nunchi didn't take off in the same way that Hygge did, or some of these other trends. Like Uni Hong didn't become the Korean Marie Kondo or anything like that. And I don't think this book was ultimately as successful as Hemin Sunim's own books have been. Anyway, so what exactly is Nunchi? So, how does Uni Hong define this concept for those of us who don't know what it is? So, Nunchi is, in literal translation, I measure. And Uni Hong defines it as the subtle art of gauging other people's thoughts and feelings to build harmony, trust, and connection. She frequently discusses it in terms of being able to read the room. And further, she defines it as the art of instantly understanding what people are thinking and feeling in order to improve your relationships and lives. That sounds pretty good. So, the idea of getting advantage for yourself by reading facial expressions, body language, interpreting what is going said, and swiftly interpreting relationships and power dynamics, all of these things are sort of bound up in the idea of nunshi. And Uni Hong frequently returns to examples of walking into a room of colleagues or some other business situation, and then using Nunshi to judge how to act in that environment. And one of the most important elements is the speed of one's Nunshi. How quickly can one interpret a situation and turn it to their advantage, or deflect some potentially face threatening situation? So she makes some pretty extravagant claims for what Nunchi can actually achieve. What does she actually believe that Nunchi can do for people? So she, in the short term, she argues that it can save you from embarrassment in social circumstances. And in the long term, she says that Nunchi will help you live your best life. The waters will part for you and life will become easy. And she argues that Nunchi is equally important for the underprivileged as it is for the elite. The underdog can apparently use Nunchi to rise in life, while the rich and privileged can retain their influence with quick and fast nunchi. Sorry, I think I've got a cat hair in my nose. Anyway, she notes that there is a Korean saying, half of public life is nunchi, and even suggests that nunchi is partly responsible for Korea's rapid development in the second half of the 20th century. She calls it the Korean superpower. And to read her book, it would seem there's no problem that can't be turned in your favor with the fast application of nunchi. Sounds great, right? So let's see. Let me see if I can give you some more examples of this Korean superpower. So each chapter has a little quiz to test the reader's nunchi. So I will test your nunchi just now, right? So I will read 4 statements, and you choose which one represents the best nunchi. Okay, so this is from page 35 of the book. So A, after a cup of tea, your host says, I'm not sure I bought enough lamb, but would you like to stay for dinner? You say, sure, I'll just eat the side dishes. B, at a work meeting, your colleague completes her presentation and says, so if there are no more questions, I guess we can break for lunch. At that moment, you say, I have a question actually. C, you know your boss stress eats chocolate bars when he's in a bad mood, don't we all? So you glance in his trash can to see if there are any wrappers before asking for a promotion. Or finally, D, you barge into a room and tell a joke. Okay, so anyway, so what do you think is the answer with the best nunchi? So the answer is, of course, C. You are eye measuring the situation to gain insight into your boss's mood. And Uni goes on to outline a series of rules to help people implement nunchi in their life. So what does she recommend people do? So 1, empty your mind. Rid yourself of preconceptions. This makes it easier to discern what is really happening in any given situation. 2, the Nunchi observer effect. This is the idea that simply by entering a room or situation, you change the atmosphere. And number 3, never pass up an opportunity to be silent and observe. And so anyway, her suggestions are generally along these lines, right? Tips for increasing your awareness of situations happening around you. Now, I mentioned that there had been a bit of a backlash in certain places. So, what were these people objecting to in her description of nunchi? So, some argue that the way nunchi functions in Korean society is mainly to support the unequal distribution of power in sort of interpersonal dynamics in the office, in the workplace, in the family, friend groups, or whatever. So that really it's the people with no power in any given situation that have to exercise nunchi or to keep the powerful happy. And so it's really sort of a pyramid. So the higher up the pyramid you are, the less nunchi you need. Like the nunchi is really just helping you keep the person who's above you happy. And Nunchi is more about staying silent and not complaining about genuine injustice. So there's definitely another way to look at Nunchi. Some of the tips are pretty. They're simple tips and sort of basic good advice. I don't know if you need to give it this, call it a Korean superpower. Just pay attention to what's happening around you. What do I know? Anyway, so is it worth reading? So yes, I think you'll enjoy this book if you love self-help books or want a cultural insight into this aspect of Korean culture. Yeah, if you want to know how social intelligence works in Korea specifically, it's very interesting. Are you interested in how small social cues can shape relationships? And it might not be for you, though, if you, dare I say it, you want a more research-backed psychology, self-help book type of reading experience. And if you're skeptical of books that oversell or oversimplify concepts and claims are life-changing, And if you want a deeper discussion of power and social dynamics, then this might not be the book for you. Nevertheless, it is an engaging and easy read that introduces a fascinating concept. Um, but while Uni Hong describes Nunchi as a superpower, others might see it as a form of just simple social survival, as opposed to personal empowerment. But it's a book that sparks an interesting conversation either way. Anyway, please like the video if you've enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you get more reviews of Korean books and literature. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you back here in the next video. Oh, wow. I've got a comment. I disagree. It's called perspective. Nunchi is what you say when you eat pie. I don't like to read. Oh, okay, John. Yeah, okay. So it is really just kind of about perspective. Nunchi is what you say when you eat pie? All right. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you for commenting, John. Says there's actually 2 people watching. Usually there's nobody watching. I just record it like this to put on my channel. But anyway, thank you for watching and commenting. And see you back here in the next video.